The following program is brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization.
Welcome to Art and Soul, where I interview creative professionals and how they found their calling and what they're doing now. I am your host, Trina Fallon. Tonight, we have Tracy Rose. She's an actor, voiceover artist, and teacher. So Tracy, when did you discover that you wanted to be an actor?
Well, honestly, I think it was my whole life, really. I've always been into television and movies, and even as a small child, growing up watching Doctor Who and Star Trek and shows like The Phoenix, and of course everything sci-fi because I'm a crazy sci-fi person. I was so into it, but I wasn't just watching it like being entertained. I would actually put myself to sleep at night by recreating the scenes and stuff from the episodes or whatever I'd watched that day. So I was always kind of acting my whole life, but just never really did anything with it until recently. So
Yeah.
I've always felt like I was an actor at heart, but you lose that sometimes with life.
Yeah, absolutely. So how was your journey to here?
Wow. I spent the better part of my life listening to everybody saying, tell me what to do. And, I think when I was 5 years old, my first memory of being given an opportunity, I was 5, and my uncle came and asked my mother, because I have a twin brother, and they needed twins for their show. And my uncle came to my mother and said, "Can I use your twins?" And she, of course, she's a good mother. She had to say no because she didn't know enough about the situation. But I'm in my 5-year-oldness.
Yeah.
Please, Mom, let me do it. Please, I really want to do it. Not thinking about it, but there was something in me then, even at that young age, and it was significant enough that I remember it today.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thinking and just being crushed that she said no. And then later on, when I was 12, I was always acting. I was always doing something, but just mostly ignored.
Yes, that happens.
My mom did the best she could. She was a single mom, trying to keep her head above water. But, when you have somebody like me at home, if you know me,
Yeah.
I'm kind of crazy. So she was used to kind of weirdness and stuff. So then later, when I was 12 years old, or maybe even younger, I was listening to Sandi Patty, and I realized I could sing.
Oh.
Because she, at the time, was this great singer that had such a high range, and she was a very, very good high soprano. And I was singing, and I could hit those notes. I thought I could anyway.
Yeah.
And so I went to my mother again, and I said, "Mom, listen, I can sing." And she said, "Don't worry about it. That's a dead-end street. You'll never go anywhere." And as that was when I really kind of listened to her telling me that it was a dead-end street, because she basically put in there that everybody can be an actor.
Oh, wow.
Everybody. There's all these talented people out there, and really only a few get in. So it's like winning the lottery. And okay. See, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, okay, that was wrong. But really, at the time, that's maybe that's what people think.
Yeah.
Is that what people think?
Yeah, you bet.
They think it's a playing the lottery, and if you don't play the lottery, then you're not disappointed when you lose.
Oh.
So that's kind of where I went with it, and then you put it aside for just long enough that it becomes not there anymore, or so squashed that it's not
It's almost like,
palpable
yeah,
anymore.
exactly. It's like
And
that.
so I just let it go. It was something I let go, and I started listening to everybody tell me, oh, you need this degree and you need that degree.
Which, yeah, that's something that I was so impressed by when you're just a sleeper. You know, she's a sleeper agent. I mean, this woman is like a Swiss Army knife of cool. You know, how many degrees do you have?
Oh gosh, this is embarrassing.
I'm making her answer this.
Well, my first degree was in accounting. It was an associate's degree in accounting, and that was really my pioneer degree, because that was when I really kind of didn't believe in myself at all, and so that was the big shock that I actually did it.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And so it was great. I mean, the whole story behind that is pretty tragic, but you know, when I was 15 years ago, I was in a basement, basically, with no marketable skills at all. I didn't even know how to turn on a computer.
I know how you feel.
And just was hiding, basically, came out of a really bad fight with my kid's father. It was very violent. It was a bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hiding. And I came to a realization that it was time to get out. Mm-hmm. Despite everybody had told me for years that I needed to get out of that relationship, but I didn't listen for some reason until that moment. Until that because he hurt my kids for the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
And that night was particularly bad, and the voices were particularly loud.
Yeah.
And rightly so, because that was a defining moment for me. Mm-hmm. Do I sit here and put my kids in danger now? Because then it was about my kids.
Right.
Yeah. And so I decided to get out and do something else.
You got to draw the line somewhere, honey, and I
Yeah.
think that was a fairly good one.
That was my moment. And I think a lot of women have a lot of women stay in relationships and stay in those things because they feel trapped. And in essence, they are,
Mm-hmm.
because I was.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't leave the house without spending $1,000 on daycare, and I didn't have the skill set
Mm-hmm.
for anyone who made over $1,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So you are trapped.
Right.
But then I thought, you're also trapped, but you can also get creative and figure out how to get out if you're pushed to that point.
Right.
And
that
that's
was the
what
motivation.
pushed me to that point was he hurt my kids.
Right.
And I was gone the next day. And my dad bailed me out. He said, come and live with me and take a few classes in accounting, and then you can get a nice job somewhere that'll pay you good enough and stuff. So I did that. He played me perfectly. Said take
Go,
a few
Dad.
more classes. Take a few more classes. You'll be all right. And I aced all of them. And pretty soon I was 3 or 4 classes away from graduating. And then I graduated, and I was like, what happened?
Wait, what happened?
Who is this person
I have a
that can't
what is
do
this
anything?
thing?
Yeah. And so then I decided to go on for the bachelor's degree, because that was so easy.
Why not? I mean, you're already here.
So I got a bachelor's degree. I ended up with 2 bachelor's degrees.
Wow.
One in general business and the other one in international business. Yeah.
Accounting, business, international business.
Yes.
I'm telling you, she's sleeper. I'm telling you.
No, but that was a funny story too, because I had graduated with the accounting degree and needed to know where to go. And I went to this workshop that had all these colleges, and USF was there. And this was Ohio. I mean, what are you doing here?
USF? What are you doing here?
But they had a single parent program out of the Lakeland branch of USF.
Wow.
And the problem was I had no money and 2 weeks to get there.
Oh.
And I made it.
How?
And then 2 terms after, they canceled the program. But I was already here, and there was nothing stopping me. So that's when I started with the accounting. I went for an accounting degree, and some smart person over at USF said, "Hey, you already have an accounting degree. Go for something else, idiot."
Oh my goodness.
So then I went with the general business, because it was a little bit of everything. General business talks about, it doesn't just do accounting, it does the marketing, management, and economics as well. So
wow.
I'm a little bit of everything girl. So it appealed to me. So I ended up with that. And then I graduated and couldn't find a job. It was the worst job market. That graduating year was the worst job market ever.
Oh my
they said.
goodness.
And so I was like, okay, now what do I do? And professor said, hey, you got a business degree, you can teach. They'll put you in the classroom, and they did. And I've taught. My first year was business technology, and I realized then that I loved teaching.
Oh, good.
And so,
which is also a creative profession.
yes, definitely. You're an actor every day.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, and that was perfect because I had such a broad background by then of a little bit of everything that, and so much life experience that I thought, this is the perfect gig for me because I had forgotten.
Yeah. The small, still voice in the corner.
I put it away.
Oh.
And then, so I did that, and then I couldn't find a business technology job to save my life.
Go figure.
And though another gifted professor at USF said, hey, why don't you, if you want to be a teacher, go get your teaching degree. And then I looked around for what degree would be the best, and science is a little bit of everything. So,
I'm starting to see
a pattern?
I'm starting to see a pattern here. Anybody?
Yeah.
Give me some comments.
So I got my master's in teaching secondary science biology.
Wow.
So, and I've taught forensics, and now I'm teaching earth space science, which is awesome.
Yeah?
Because I'm a sci-fi girl, teaching space.
Oh my
It's so
gosh.
much fun. I mean, I love teaching, but really what ended up happening is I was very unhappy in a situation. I was in this relationship that was kind of controlling, and I had gained 100 pounds, and I was unhealthy.
I don't believe it.
Yeah. I was very unhealthy. I was looking at some serious health issues coming up, and I just, I was in this moment of, I turned 40, which is traumatic enough.
Right.
If you think about it, it's really traumatic. And then everything else that was going on with this complete dissatisfaction with my life, even though I enjoyed my life and I was happy with my kids and everything that I had done, because I felt like I was I don't know if I can say.
I think you can.
I felt like a badass.
Yeah.
That I did all that, but yet I still didn't. There was something missing.
Right.
And I was really bothered, and I think it had translated into this unhealthiness, this overall unhealthiness. And I was watching this episode of, my daughter got me onto Lost.
This is going to be good, I can tell.
This is good. It is good. Got me onto Lost, and I watched an episode of Lost and became what I can only describe as temporarily, certifiably insane. Because I couldn't stop watching it.
She was hooked.
I was hooked, and I watched every episode in 4 days.
That's incredible. That is incredible. Isn't that 5 years?
So if you do the math, I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating, I wasn't cleaning, I wasn't taking care of the kids. They'd come and say, hey, can we watch something? I would turn into demon child. Get out. I watched the show, and there was one scene in particular that just gutted me. And I might cry when I tell
That's
you.
fine. That's fine. Bring it on.
But,
I got to hear about this.
It was the scene with Michael Emerson, where he's defending himself because he's been this bad guy, this horrifying bad guy, because you don't know how bad he is until.
No spoilers.
No, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
But he comes out and he's explaining his character and why he did what he did, and all these things. And it's this. I do believe that he won some kind of award for this performance. But I was literally a puddle on the floor in front of this television watching his performance, and I thought, I want to do that. I want to do for other people what this man just did to me.
Wow.
He brought me so deeply into his character that my soul cried for his character. It was fake, but he was so real about it.
It was cathartic, absolutely.
And it was a moment, and I remember sobbing on the floor, because the sets of that show were, cinematography, there's nothing wrong with that show. I mean, yeah, they kind of wigged out at the end, but it was such a cathartic moment for me that I felt like that 5-year-old and that 12-year-old and that my whole life of kind of putting it away, it was all washed
just
over
thrust right in your face.
And I went, oh my God, I got to do something. I have to do that. I want to do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But I wasn't ready yet. I didn't feel like I was ready yet at
So
the
what did you
time.
do?
I made a list.
Oh,
I'm
hey.
such a list person.
I know. You know what? I was a list person too.
Yeah. Well, and you have to be, because I'm so flighty that, I would just...
The woman with 3 degrees is now claiming that she's flighty. Thoughts? Put them below. Put them below, people.
Yes. Well, I'm like a tornado,
This I see.
Yes. So,
A lovely tornado.
yes, but I have to kind of organize the chaos. I do operate very well under organized
Being a
chaos.
mom is organizing the chaos.
Oh, yeah.
And being a teacher.
Yes, everything is organized chaos, but fun. My life right now, I wouldn't trade it for a million years. I mean, I think the way it's worked out is perfect, because now with the degrees and the teaching, I'm not a starving actress.
No.
I can pick.
Oh,
the parts
absolutely.
that
And
I
that's
want.
actually a very solid point.
Yeah.
Now, you said you had a list.
Yes, I do have a list. I did have a list, but it was my own perception of what I needed to do at
Right.
the time. Didn't necessarily need to be true, but it was my perception.
But it kind
at
of
the
helped
time.
give you
Yeah.
that confidence.
Yeah, it gave me the confidence to go, okay, check. The first thing was I had to get healthy again.
Yeah.
So I made a plan, another secondary list of how to do that. And one of it was losing 80 to 100 pounds, which is
Which success, beautiful, you're a
what I
beautiful
did,
woman.
yes. And everybody always asks me what I did, and it's no big secret. I just, ate right and worked out like a crazy person. That's all. That's
And we
the
all know when
secret.
she puts her mind to something, it's getting
Exactly.
done.
It's getting done. And it wasn't, part of that was because of the perception that I grew up, because I'm an 80s girl. You think everybody has to be bone thin to be in television. You want to be in
yeah.
television, you got to be in bone
Those
thin.
old
and
standards.
That was false. But that's what led me originally to say, okay, I got to lose weight. Well, it also saved my life, so.
Yeah, well, can't fault results. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, results are
let's
good.
be realistic.
And it gave me some I got to realize what I could do as
Oh,
far
yeah.
as physically. I was not as limited as I thought I was.
Right.
'Cause now, one of the projects that I did recently that I thought was so impressive was that I got to be in a fight scene.
Oh my goodness!
with-
Now let me ask you this: we've got a clip of this particular of the answer to this. Because of course I know the answer. What was your first big break?
Oh, wow. My first big break was, it has to be Dominic Smith. He believed in me. He saw something in an audition that he was a student at the Art Institute of Tampa for film, and they were doing student film auditions. And I was invited by 4D Studios, Justin Padilla at 4D Studios, to audition for these student projects. And I went in. It wasn't my first audition ever, but it was one of the first.
It was your first big break.
Yeah, so I was terrified.
Ah.
I go in there and I do my best. I'd learned a few of my mistakes, and so I went in there, and he was just, I guess he saw something. I don't know what it was. He had to see through a lot of, rookiness, but he was the one that believed in me and gave me that part, knowing, because those are 48-hour film festival projects. You don't get a script beforehand. So it's not like you know what the parts are. I mean,
Right.
it's really so fantastically crazy.
Yeah.
That when it works out as well as it did, it's more cosmic. It becomes more cosmic and good mojo, because for everything to work together
Yes.
like that, something else is going on.
Something else is going on. Something else is at work here.
Yeah, and that was a fantastic project, and I learned by doing in that sense, and that was the project that said, yes, you can do this.
And that was Camp Carmela.
Camp Carmela, yeah.
Okay, let's look at the clip.
Oh, screw that!
I thought I told you not to wander around.
I was coming to look for you. I finished my lines.
That old thing. I was always against the cold read. I always felt that you could never get the casting directors to see who you are. You don't have time to find the best place of yourself. It's just so impersonal. No. Me? I like to reach deep into your soul. I like to tug on your heartstrings. I like to dig into your nightmares. Taste your sweat and blood.
I have to go home. I'm tired. I have to go home.
I want to feel your emotions.
I'm tired. I have to go home.
I want to live them. I want to see the fear in your eyes. Directors, they say, pretend this and pretend that, but I want it to be real. And scene. Good work. Matt,
Yeah.
do me a favor next time. Don't shine that light in my eyes. You don't want to blind your actors.
Right. Sorry about that, Miss Morrow. We'll get that fixed. It was all fake? The casket, the blood, everything was fake? You were just acting the whole time.
Welcome to Camp Carmela.
And that was her first role.
First ever. Yeah.
I had to show it. I love that. When I watched it, it was so great.
Yes.
It was so great. I love the twist at the end.
Yes, it was great, and I absolutely had so much fun on that. And they made it, you know, the folks, everybody involved, Dominic Smith, the whole crew. They're just such gifted filmmakers. I mean, every film that I've done so far, I can't really. There's been a couple that I haven't, but most of them have been through the Art Institute of Tampa. People connected to that. But I mean, they're just so gifted. How do you not?
Oh, I don't.
not do that?
So how do you just? I know you have a method for choosing a script. Tell us about that.
I do now. Yeah. If it scares me, if I'm like, can I do that? Then, you know, it's on the list. And if it makes me cry,
It's on the list.
it's definitely on the list. And if it makes me laugh, it's on the list.
Oh yeah.
And I can choose those things now. You know,
Yeah.
whereas if I hadn't had the background that I have, I wouldn't be able to be so picky.
Absolutely.
You know?
Now, one of your films, and we have a clip for that coming up as soon as I get the signal. Now, this was another film that you worked with Dominic Smith.
Yes,
And
yes.
did this one? Which one did this? What did this
This
do
one
for
terrified
you?
me.
Did it terrify
It
you?
terrified me.
And this one
Yes.
won awards. Did it not?
It's still winning awards across the roof. It won Best Use of Drama, Best Audience Choice. I mean, it's still. I mean, the group went to New Orleans at the
Wow.
film festival in New Orleans to see where it's going to go, and they're still submitting it. So it's
We're going
done
to see.
very
Well,
well.
let's take a look.
Yes. Oh wow.
And the boy's father?
He's a test tube baby.
Is that accurate? 'Cause based on
He's
your
gone, okay? He found out I was pregnant and he split.
I didn't mean to upset you. I just want to do the best that I can for your son. And for me to do that, I need to know things. You want to keep him, right?
No creature but human has practiced such a meaningless cause as looking for the meaning of life.
I don't know how I'm going to do this alone.
Do the best that you can, and that will be good enough for him.
I used to have a perfect picture of what my life would be like.
Not everybody can be perfect. Don't feed your ego with my soul. Uzan.
I said, shut the fuck up!
That was a gripping moment, wasn't it not?
Yes,
I'll tell
but
you what, that was
I
actually.
don't like to say the F word.
Yeah, what's funny is that that was the first Dominic Smith film that I got to watch, and it was the first time I'd seen you act.
Yeah. Oh,
and
really?
yeah, it was the first time because and I had seen that because of Morgan, because I was working with Morgan
True.
on my film Syntax.
Yes.
But one thing I wanted to ask you is, so what are you working on now? Have you done anything recently?
Oh yeah, I've done some voiceover work, which was so much fun. I couldn't believe I was getting paid. I did recently. I did a show with. Gosh, now I'm blanking out. We're working on I Am Sin.
Oh yes.
Which is my boyfriend says that I'm basically a nun, a killer nun.
Ooh, hey, killer nun.
Not really. I'm actually a mercenary sent by the Vatican to investigate some bad things that are
really does
happening.
sound like a killer nun, though.
Yes.
I'm just saying. And now we also have another clip. The last clip I'd like to show as soon as I get the signal.
Yes.
That actually has your whole family in it, does it not?
It is. It does. It has. Well, not my whole family, because my daughter and my oldest daughter and my middle son have absolutely no interest in acting at all. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
But my youngest son, Sam, he's getting there. He's getting the bug.
So we have you.
Yes.
And
Tim, my boyfriend.
yes, and then your son.
And my son.
Okay, and this
we're
is
all
by
in it.
Jared Lee Sachs Miller, and it's an environmental ad.
Yes.
Don't forget your gas mask, honey.
Thanks for reminding me. I'll see you both later tonight.
Dad,
What is it, champ?
why do you always have to wear a gas mask?
Well, my generation messed up the environment. The air is too toxic to breathe. So it's up to your generation to fix our mistakes.
It's a cautionary tale.
That was so much fun.
You know what's great is that, and I kind of struggled with this when I was getting ready for the show, because I wanted that to be first because it was so chipper, and then to kind of see the progression. But I think it tells more about you that your first role was so
creepy.
But it was so dramatic.
Yes.
And then your next role was even more dramatic.
Yes.
And then to see you do this commercial, you were so, light and bubbly, and I just thought that was so great.
Well, and I'm trying to choose roles to challenge myself to do different things, because I'm still learning what I can do.
Absolutely.
And
now
I
you
will
said
continue to learn.
Absolutely. And you said you're working on I Am Sin?
I Am Sin, yes.
And is there a page for that?
I believe so, but I'm not sure how much of it I can talk about yet. I want to talk about so much of it, but there is a Facebook page, but I'm not sure it's public yet.
Okay.
I think we're still in production and getting things going.
All right.
But that's going to be a lot of fun. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you what, when I find out about I Am Sin, I will post it on my Facebook page. Please, everybody, if you are watching this show, I want to thank you for joining us tonight. I have a Facebook page called Art and Soul with Trina Fallon. Like it, and you'll see updates. You'll see me talking all week long about who I'm going to meet. I look forward to seeing you guys again. Thank you for tuning in.
This program was brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization, setting the standard for new media broadcasting.